Today we're going to talk about the sunscreen controversy. What is hype, what is harm, and when you should actually wear it. For those of you that are new here, hi, I'm Diana. I've been a scientist for 3.5 years. I've got a master's in medicinal chemistry, and on my channel we are exploring atomic truths about products that you might be using every single day and the controversies that surround them. Sunscreens are my favorite subject. They are so complex and so talked about at the moment. So I'm going to help you cut through the sunscreen noise. What are chemical sunscreens? What are mineral sunscreens? We're going to look into stability issues, health claims, expiry dates, and environmental concerns. So let's dive into the atomic truth. Now, to better understand sunscreens, we are first going to take a short trip to the past. In the late 50s, spending hours sunbathing in your back garden was a status symbol. In fact, much like today, having the time to relax in the sun, having a garden, taking a tropical holiday, and a deep tan meant that you had made it. So naturally, having protection from the sun became a health necessity and a booming business idea. Sunscreen ads at the time were advising that you shouldn't burn and overdo it, but it got lost in the popularity of tanning. So what is a sun cream made of? We're going to keep it short. The active ingredients are inorganic filters like zinc oxide and titanium dioxide that protect your skin by scattering UV photons, whereas organic filters absorb light and dissipate the energy as heat. And then these molecules and minerals are added to a formulation matrix. So that would be the cream formulation that makes a product cosmetically pleasing, and that is why every year you see something new on the market, something a bit more hydrating, a bit more shimmery, a bit more matte. But there's also a shady side to them. Now, despite the risk, both types of UV filters are necessary because they protect your skin from different parts of the UV light spectrum. This enhances the protection that your skin receives when exposed to sunlight. And now, onto some toxic trends that seem to be repeating through history. For example, back in the 80s, a known brand of baby oil was advertising itself as a tan accelerator. Now they no longer use the claim because of public health campaigns over sunburn. Yet the baby oil trend is back and it's mixed with iodine. Iodine is a very important molecule. It sanitizes wounds, it helps with breastfeeding and pregnancy, but most importantly, it is light sensitive. Light will degrade it into free radicals, which are very reactive. So please do not attempt this toxic trend. But I think it really shows you how norms around beauty and health are iterative and not always in a good way. Because now we have more knowledge, so we should do better. Now let's see what your cells have to say about overexposure to ultraviolets. As you well know, too much ultraviolet exposure, whether it's from the sun or if it's from sunbeds, will rupture bits of DNA in your cells. These ruptures can heal, but it's not a given. This bit of damaged DNA gets distorted, and the cell that englobes it stops to function properly and it dies. UVA rays, in particular, do indirect damage by generating reactive oxygen species, which you might have heard about because they're all the rave on social media. And I'm actually happy that people are getting educated on the topic. But why are reactive oxygen species so dangerous? We're going to keep it simple. Reactive oxygen species oxidize some parts of DNA. We're going to call them bits because it's just easier. Okay, the bits, they then mutate. Now, if that cell stops working properly, diseases start to occur, and one of them is cancer. Well, I really want you to think about it. Is it the sunscreens that are evil, or could it be the person that you saw promoting a sunbed or promoting that you should get this really deep tan in a matter of 2 weeks, for example? Sunscreens are a trade-off, so you will get protection from ultraviolet rays as and when needed, but concerns related to some of the ingredients' stability are still very real, and we will dive into those now. In my first undergraduate summer, I researched a bunch of UV filter molecules that were natural analogs, and I computed how strongly they can absorb ultraviolet light. And after 3 fascinating months, I realized I barely scratched the surface. Now let me tell you why. When it comes to sunscreens, scientists will generally recommend what is known as the bottom-up approach. This means monitoring how UV filters, stabilizers, and the other component molecules of the cream would interact with each other before formulating the cream. And then they would validate the UV photostability and protection of the final formulation. That is the ideal world. What happens is that the creams are already formulated, so you cannot retrofit stability studies into it. There are stability studies, but they are done in an unusual order, and this is why concerns have started to emerge about their safety. This is one of the main reasons why the controversy exists in the first place. So, should you use them at all? Yes, but when? The best option is to check your phone for the UV index in your area. In the UK and elsewhere, when the index is at 3 or above, consider sun protection such as shade, clothing, sunglasses, and sunscreen on exposed skin. And when the index is at 8 or above, you must consider staying indoors. On the low UV index days, many people won't even need sunscreen for brief outdoor errands. This is, for example, my 6 p.m. walk in my local area when the index is 0. This not only allows me to get some sun, but it does wonders for my mental health. If you don't have a nearby park and you don't have 10 minutes to spare, then find an hour or two every week to be outside. Now on to the bonus tip. Next one is a bonus tip for me, and it's super important from a research and environmental perspective. If you're at the beach or you're planning a tropical holiday, try not to go in the water wearing sunscreen because smudging is not your only concern. And now a short minute for blue light. I know there's a huge frenzy at the moment on social media about using sunscreen indoors as well because of the blue light that's emitted by your screens in case you stay on your screens for 10 hours a day. But you see what the problem is here? You might need to find ways to reduce your screen time, at least on your phone. And now we're wrapping up. That's it for today. So remember, sunscreens aren't saints or sinners, they are tools. Pick a broad spectrum product, ideally free from fragrance and parabens. And respect the expiry date, okay? Because past expiry dates, the sunscreen molecules will degrade. Try your best to only use the sunscreen when the UV index is at 3 or above. That's the atomic truth. Don't overdo it. Do let me know in the comments below. Do you use sunscreens every day? What kind of brands would you go for? What kind of sun protection factor would you use? And just generally, how do you feel about their safety overall? Do you think the industry should be more transparent with their stability studies? Or anything that comes to mind, just drop it in the comments below. And here's a short bonus clip of my cat devouring my final year lecture notes. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I see you next time.